Hey book beauties, welcome back to my Reads and Feels, my weekly book talk where I talk about the books that I read. So let's get straight into it because there's a couple of books. When Javi dumped Mari, you know how last week I told you guys that I was reading this one? I started it on Saturday and I said I was going to finish it on Sunday, and I did end up finishing it on Sunday late at night. I absolutely love this one. I think it was so cute. This is the perfect best friends to lovers. There wasn't none of that weird stuff because a lot of best friends to lovers, friends to lovers ends up being so weird. A lot of them have that weird stuff in it where they call each other brother and sister. They have this sibling relationship, and there's nothing cute, nothing romantic about that. Nothing. I absolutely loved Javi. Their individual vibes, I absolutely loved it. The way of why they weren't coming together, they didn't want to ruin their friendship and they were straight up with each other, and that's what I like. But then some things happened. They knew they had feelings for each other and they would flirt and say these things, but they would still be hesitant, you know, and they would date other people. I just really liked their relationship. I loved their friendship, and that's what it's all about. You do really have to become friends before you become lovers. That's what I think. That is what I believe. This is my favorite best friends to lovers. This is what best friends to lovers should be like. And it was in first person. I was shook when it was in first person. I was like, dude, yes. And I want to read more of her books. Then I read Too Soon for Adios. This one was really lovely. I liked the whole story. It wasn't just romance. There was other stuff. If you guys haven't read these books, go read them and then come back, because this is kind of like a little bit of a spoiler. If you don't want to be spoiled, then go read the book first and then come and watch the video. There's so much going on. She recently just lost her mother, and she had lost her father years ago. That wasn't her biological father. Her biological father just comes like immediately in the beginning. I was like, whoa. I kind of saw it coming though. I don't know. I felt like there was something. I feel like it was something that my inner child needed. It was healing in some ways. It was an adorable book. I totally recommend it. It's an easy read. Super easy read, you guys. I finished this in like 2 days. I couldn't put it down. It was just so interesting, you know, like some real life stuff, because she thinks she's going to do one thing. She has these goals, but you know, goals change. And yeah, you have these career goals, but you also have these personal goals, and sometimes they do cross each other and you're like, well, what do I choose, or what do I go with? And you should always go with what makes you happy. Things change, you know, your goals change, and that is totally perfectly fine. You just have to let go of the past, be in the present moment, appreciate what you have, who you have around you, and just love yourself. So this one was really cute. I did cry a little bit, and I feel like some tears might come up right now. Also really appreciated how it was in first person, because I feel like I was really able to connect to it, because I did relate to it in some ways. It was just adorable. I loved it. I'm feeling my throat shock a little bit, like, you know when you know when like you're about to tear up a little bit and then you feel it in your throat? That's me right now. So we ain't trying to tear up right now, okay? We already teared up. Let's keep it moving. Witch of Wild Things. Loved this one. I love me a witchy book. I just love the whole witchy vibes. The romance was so adorable, and dude, it was like playing me a little bit, because there's 2 guys and I'm like, who is she gonna go for? Is she gonna go with this 10 guy? Is she gonna go with Nate? But then these messages come up from years ago, so I'm like, okay, it might be him, but still there's Nate. You kind of saw things coming, but then it threw things at you, like the whole sister thing, like Sky. Dude, it shook me. But towards the end, I was lightweight seeing it coming, because it gives you hints, but you're like, what's going on? Like, did she become a goddess? Like, what happened when that whole thing, you know, happened? It was just so cute. It was so lovely, because I feel like they really needed that. You know, the whole sister relationship wasn't good between Teal and Sage, so that was another thing too, because yeah, it was the relationship with my dude, but it was also her relationship with her sisters, her relationship with her aunt, and her grandma comes out in it a little bit, and their relationship is a little bit like and then their mom. I'm very interested in like what happened to the mom. I thought the mom was gonna come up too, dude, because they all have these gifts, and I guess the mom can like make herself disappear, but she literally disappeared. Like, she was like, peace, I'm out, supposedly for a guy. And there is a second book. Once I finished this book, I checked the library to see if it had it, and it did. And I was just at the library. Was it that day or the day before? I can't remember, but I'm like, why didn't I check when I was there? And I could have gotten that one, but I'll get it next time. Hey, just another excuse to go to the library. I'm hoping that the mom does come up in the second book. A third one is coming out, I think next year. I'm not sure, but it is of the sisters. The next one, I think it might be of Teal. I'm not sure. But I want the mom to come up or for it to talk a little bit more about her. Maybe even their dads because they don't know their dads. I don't know. I really like this one. It was so interesting. I couldn't put it down. Then I read The Temple of Swoon. This one is part of a series, and this is the second book in the series. The first one is Raiders of the Lost Heart, and that one was really interesting, and I couldn't put it down. And it was in third person, and this one is also in third person. And this one wasn't as interesting, and because it was in third person, I was just like, I couldn't really connect to it. It was cute and all, but I don't know, you kind of saw it coming. But there was one thing. There's some of the characters from the first book are in this one. Will they mention it? They're not in the quest that they asked them to go on. But there's this guy, Vator. How do you say his name? Pierre Valtor. I don't know if I'm saying it right. But who this guy is, I was shook. I did not see it coming. I knew it was going to be a quest and they were going to find it. There was some things here and there where I was like, whoa, you know, but it wasn't as interesting as the first one. Like the first one wasn't spicy, but you can feel the tension. Maybe because that one was an enemies to lovers and this one they didn't know each other. I didn't really feel their vibes together. Like them individually, she was funny and he was a good guy. You know, I felt his energy, I felt his vibes. With them together, I was like, I feel like I know what the third one might be about, like what character, but I'm not too sure. But that one comes out next year, I think in January, and I am going to read it, you know, hopefully it's good. And then this morning I started reading this one, We Came to Welcome You. This is a thriller, and so far it's kind of interesting. There's like a lot going on. They just moved. She's dealing with some stuff with anxiety. There's depression. There's these weird neighbors that already came over and introduced themselves. Well, there's some. It was like 3 of them. And I'm like, dude, what is going on? It is in third person, but thrillers I don't really mind in third person. But I just hope that it is interesting. I feel like this might be like a little bit scary. I don't fucking know. But hopefully it's not that scary, because then, you know, they're a little bit scary and I don't like scary stuff. I don't watch scary movies. I don't want to read scary books. Thrillers are not scary, most of the thrillers. Some are just like weird. I like the psychological thrillers, you know, where they really get you thinking. Hopefully this one isn't like scary because I don't read horror books, which I have been wanting to, but I'm like, what if I get fucking scared? Like I read The Bewitching. That one was scary. It was so fucking weird. I didn't like it, but I found it a little bit scary. I was like, whoa, like, I'm not trying to read shit like this. But this one, I'm just like a couple pages into, like 20. This is a Latin author, I'm pretty sure. When I was at the library, I had no clue what the fuck I was gonna get. Well, there was one book waiting for me, and I was gonna get it downstairs. But I wanted to go upstairs and get a little something. I was just gonna walk out with 2 books. I said 2, okay? Because I have books at home. I walked out with 4. 3 thrillers and 1 romance. And I was looking up for thrillers. I was like, dude, I need some thrillers. Like, let's see what these peeps on TikTok recommend. You know how when like you write it down and you get these suggestions? It said thriller books from Latin authors. So I pressed and I was like, okay, let's see what comes up. This one came up and another one. I don't know why I'm getting the feeling that Latin authored thriller books are a little bit scary. I don't know, but we will see. Because there's another one too. I'm pretty sure that one is a Latin author. And it does sound like a little bit scary. I don't know. There's 2. There's this one, the other one, and the other one. I just saw it there and I was like, dude, it seems interesting. Let's get it. These are my weekly reads and feels. I read kind of a lot this week, to be honest. Like, a little bit. I'm like, I'm really excited for this week because I'm going to read this thriller. I'm going to read another thriller and then maybe another thriller. I don't know. No, there's this other book that I have to read. I don't know, but I'm really excited for that one as well. You guys, I'm just realizing that these are all Latin authors that I read. It was a Latin authored book week. Latin authored books week. Latin author reads week. Latin author, Latin author, Latin author, Latin author, and you guys, I'm pretty sure this one is a Latin author because it said thriller books from Latin authors. I mean, I'd have to double check, but it said it was Latin authored. Wow. So let me know what you have read this week. Let me know what you are planning to read next week, and I will talk to you guys next week. Stay gorgeous, stay reading. See you next week.